when you see the richness in your life, and that's where you put your focus and your attention, you will believe that about your life. You will believe that about yourself. Therefore, you will align to it in your behavior. You will live and behave as a person who believes they live a very rich life, a very rich and rewarding life. And so then you will act in accordance with that and create that in your life more and more. So how are we going to smoke out these beliefs? Well, I was thinking this morning, I think every morning. It's just one of those things that I do. I guess maybe it's the coffee. I was thinking in terms of the times in my life where I've tried to make myself something I wasn't. And because I fell short of that, I felt bad about myself until I realized this is just not for me. And I brought up my insurance agency, and I was never as successful as I had originally wanted to be. And I felt bad about myself for years about this, what caused my second depression, in fact, one of the things that caused it. Until I realized, you know what, it's just not for me. It's just not my game. That was such a huge relief when I was finally able to admit that to myself. And then when I was able to articulate it to the people who were important in my life, and they all said the same thing. We all knew that. It was like I seemed to be the last one to know it. It seemed like everybody else knew it, but I think I knew it deep down inside. I just wasn't admitting it to myself. So whether it's your career, your business, your relationships, play your game. Don't play other people's games. Play other people's games if you want to try them out. See if they work for you. And if they don't play that game. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. I really enjoy negotiating. I do enjoy persuasion and influence. I don't do direct sales anymore, but I do still love negotiating. I also like debating too. So I found a lot of ways to debate or negotiate. And I've learned a few tools and tactics. And one of them is, before you go into a negotiation, know what you're willing to walk away from and know how much you're willing to spend or concede to. What are you willing to give up, whether that's money or choices or whatever it is, whatever's involved in the negotiation, before you get into the negotiation. Very, very important. Lots of people don't think this through. When I travel and I go to a place where people like to barter and negotiate over prices for souvenirs and things like that, I always know ahead of time, before I even start negotiating with the person, what I'm willing to pay for whatever it is that I'm considering buying. And so my wife and I, we were in Jerusalem, Israel, a few months ago, and this situation occurred where, I was looking at these different souvenirs. I put them all together. I thought of a price in my head. Then the person kicks off the negotiation by giving me a price, which was so overly inflated, but I knew right away what he was doing. He was setting the price super high so that I would come up and he would go lower, and it would give me the feeling that, oh, he's making concessions so that I'll make some concessions, and then finally I'll meet him in the middle, which is still way overpriced. And I was like, I'm not going to play that game. That's a losing game for me, especially if he is the opening bid. And every time he makes a concession, and I go, oh, okay, I guess I have to make a concession. I was like, no, I'm not playing these games. And so I told him what I was willing to pay, and I said, I'm not playing your game. This is what I'm willing to pay. And if you don't want me to, if this isn't good enough, then that's fine. I'm not going to be upset, but I'm going to go. And he was like, no. No, I'm starting here. You need to come up. You need to come up. And I was like, no. I already told you. This is how it works. I'm giving you the number so that we don't have to play this game. Don't waste your time. You can tell me right now whether or not you want to sell this to me for this price. No, that the person was not going to sell me anything where he was going to lose money. That just doesn't make sense. So I didn't feel like I was lowballing him or anything like that. I'm just only focusing on what I'm willing to pay for him. It got to the point where he got very angry at me because I didn't play the game. And he even blocked my exit because I was starting to leave. And he got in my way and he's like, come on, give me a better price. And I said, my friend, I told you, this is all I'm going to pay for it. If that's not good enough, I'm leaving. And then he went ahead and gave it to me for the price.